Hi, yo, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. The reason why I call it podcast is because there is no official name yet for this YouTube channel, for this podcast series. We're going to take it and see how it goes, play it by ear. We're going to try to keep this about sports, but maybe we can get into other topics as well. Start with sports, we'll take it from there. I'd like to talk about today one of the most debated, most heated topics is the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate. Who's better? Who's the greatest of all time? Now, I'm not going to come over here and try to convince you that one of them is greater. I think you can't say who's greater. They're two different players, two different types of play, two different eras. What I can do is bring up certain points that I think go unnoticed by the average basketball fan, by the average NBA fan that don't always realize this. You know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it just seems to me that the ones that think Jordan is the GOAT, they think it's hands down, no question. If you think LeBron's the GOAT, you must be on drugs or something. But the guys who think, LeBron might be the GOAT, it's, they agree, it's somewhere in the middle, but they'll give LeBron the edge. So I just want to bring up some points about Jordan and LeBron, about this whole thing. So if you ask your average guy who's all for Jordan, you'll ask him, why do you think Jordan's the greatest player of all time? Why is he the greatest basketball player to have ever lived? The average thing he'll tell you is, the first thing he'll tell you is, listen, what's the deal with those finals? Jordan's 6-0, LeBron's 3-5, or whatever the heck it is. That's usually the go-to thing. Jordan's in the clutch, he does well in the finals. Okay, that's great. That's classic answer. First of all, I'm not even going to go to this direction, but you could easily answer back, why isn't Bill Russell the greatest basketball player of all time? He's got 11 rings. He won championships in his rookie season. That's 11 rings in 13 years. But we won't go there. Different era, different amount of teams in the league, total different situation. We won't have to go there. We won't have to discuss that. Although we could. We could discuss that topic, but we won't go there for now. Let's go somewhere else. When you tell me that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, mainly due to his 6 rings, what are you telling me? What is the therefore? What is the therefore of his 6 rings? You're saying since he has 6 rings, therefore, he is a better winner. That's really what you're saying. It's not about the ring. You're telling me that he's a better winner. That's what's special about this finals record. He wins better. That's really what you're trying to tell me. Well, you're telling me that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time because of his 6-0 finals record. You're basically just telling me, listen, I think Jordan's a better winner. He wins in the finals. He's 6-0. He's got the 6 rings. LeBron James does not have 6 rings. That's really what you're telling me. Okay, that might be true. But we have to look at how do you get to the finals? You have the regular season, then you have 3 rounds of playoffs. So what if I told you that leading up to the finals, Michael Jordan might not have that better record? He might not be better at winning. You can't say he's a better winner only because, once he gets to the finals, he'll always win. He'll have those 2 3-peats. He's 6-0. What about the first round of the playoffs, the second round of the playoffs, the third round of the playoffs? You have to win there too in order to get to the finals and get that ring. Let's look at some of the Chicago Bulls seasons, Michael Jordan's teams. So let's just check this up. So obviously Michael Jordan's first year was the 1984 to 1985 season. We're just going to look at a couple of these. Wikipedia.com right here. 84-85 Chicago Bulls. How did the Chicago Bulls do with the 1984-85 season? With Michael Jordan, the best, winningest guy, greatest player of all time, because he just knows how to win. Well, his record was 38-44. Now, I understand it's his rookie season. Let's just take it slow. 38-44, under 500. Luckily, he got the 7th seed, but he lost in the first round of the playoffs. Well, no wonder he didn't lose in the finals that year. He didn't make it there. If he would have made it to the finals, he would have lost. You see how this stat is so misleading. Oh, he's perfect in the finals. So how is he in the playoffs? Lost in the first round to the Bucks, 3-1. Now those were the days when I guess it was best of 5, like they have in baseball in the first round. But the point is, he lost in the first round to the Bucks. Now I understand it's his first season. Let's go to his second season, 1985-1986 Bulls. Here he was 30-52. Barely had 30 wins. Just had 30 on the dot. 36% winning percentage. I don't know if he was injured this year. Did he not play? I'm just looking at Wikipedia, the records. 4th in division. He somehow got 8th in the conference. I don't even know how that makes sense with that type of record. I'm not sure what happened that year. Swept in the first round. He got swept in the first round. You guys are making fun of LeBron when he gets swept in the finals. But he's playing an NBA Finals team. He got swept last year against this crazy Warriors team. He got swept. Big deal. This guy, 1985, 1986 Bulls get swept in the first round. I understand. Yeah, it's his second year in the league. But if we're going with this crazy, he always wins in the finals. Well, you have to look at everything. You have to look at all the postseason stuff. You have to look at the regular season stuff too. You can't just be a winner in certain situations. Well, he wins when it matters. Well, how does he get to that point where it matters? He doesn't always get there. Out of his 15 seasons, he got to the finals 6 times. 40%, yeah, it's pretty good. But that's only 40%. What did he do when he didn't get there? Lost in the first round? 2 times in a row? First time he loses 3-1. Next time he loses to the Celtics, he gets swept with a 30-52 record. Probably shouldn't even been to the playoffs. Let's look at season number 3. 1986-1987 Bulls. Also under 500, not by much, 40-42 record. 8th in the conference. That makes more sense. Again, gets swept in the first round. 2 years in a row, gets swept in the first round. I cannot picture LeBron getting swept in the first round of a playoff series. I don't think he ever lost in the first round of playoffs, but getting swept in the first round 2 years in a row to the same team, the Boston Celtics. This is the winningest guy. Well, he never lost a final series. That seems so misleading. You're just blinded. You're just focusing on the finals. You're just leaving out so much information. Let's look at the 4th year, 86-87 Bulls. No, we just did that. Hold on 1 second. 87-88 Bulls. Finally, gets 50 wins, 50-32. 61% winning percentage, 3rd in the conference. Lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals. So he made it to the second round. Very nice, 50 wins. But what happened this season, different than the other seasons? Did Jordan play much better? Doubt it. What happened in this season? I think this is the year that, check it up, but this is when Jordan finally got his Scottie Pippen, because Jordan cannot do it by himself. And we're going to get into that later with this whole super team business. But basically, without Scottie Pippen, barely even a 500 team, these Chicago Bulls, 1 year, not even a 400 team, 30-52 with 36% winning percentage. But finally, when he gets to Scottie Pippen, 15-32, but still loses in the second round 4-1. Not really a close series there to the Detroit Pistons. Let's go to the next year, 88-89. Again, 47-35, much better, again, because he has a Scottie Pippen. 6th in the conference. Loses in the second round again, 4-2 to the Detroit Pistons. Nothing really so special so far. First 6 seasons. Nothing special. And this is the guy that we're considering the GOAT because he's good at winning. I expected to see much better. I decided to do this podcast before I even knew these stats. I didn't expect it to be like this. Getting swept twice in the first round. Well, let's look at the 89-90 Bulls. So they bring in Phil Jackson. And, they do well with him. 55-27. Excellent record. 3rd in the East. They actually make it to the 3rd round of the playoffs. They lose to the Pistons. So they like losing to the Celtics and they like losing to the Pistons. Yeah, couldn't beat those bad boys. Fine. And the year after that, we know what happens. They get their three-peat. But it took a while for Jordan to win. It took a while. He needed a Scottie Pippen. And even during his three-peats, We know he had his Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman. We'll get into that soon. But he wasn't such a winning guy. These Chicago Bulls, they did not win games. Now, did LeBron start off so well? Let's say not. Let's look at him. 2003-2004 Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, let's keep in mind, LeBron did not go to college. This is some 18-year-old or 19-year-old. But let's keep it like that. 35-47 in his first year. 9th in the East. Now, he didn't actually make the playoffs with that record. Somehow, Michael made it with that 32 record, but didn't make it to the playoffs. Now, you could say the same thing on me. If he would have made the playoffs, would he have lost in the first round? Very possible. But no one's saying LeBron's better because he wins. They're giving that to Jordan. This is a lot closer than it looks. The year after that, it was 42-40. Again, he didn't make the playoffs. That looks pretty bad, but he's over 500. What more do you want? Second season. In his third season, already with 50 wins in his third season. Michael didn't do that. And so he lost in the second round to the Pistons. And then in the fourth season, the 2006-2007 Cleveland Cavaliers make it to the NBA Finals. They do get swept, but I doubt he had anyone normal on his roster. Let's check up that roster. 2006-2007 Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's see. I think the next best player was probably Mo Williams. Shannon Brown, Daniel Gibson, Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, okay, LeBron obviously, Damon Jones, Dwayne Jones, Doniel Marshall, Eric Snow, Varejao. There was nobody on this team. Could someone explain to me how he took this team to the NBA Finals? Big deal. So he got swept, so he lost. I think you could. I mean, do you think if Michael Jordan was inserted on this team instead of LeBron, would they have won the finals? I don't know. Would they have gotten swept? I don't know either, but doubt they would have won. Look at LeBron James last year against the Boston Celtics, that last game. He's played all 48 minutes. If you insert Michael, are they even making that? Who said? LeBron could win also. It just goes to show you this whole situation with winning in the finals doesn't really show everything. Let's look at the season after. 2007-2008 Cavs, 45-37. Fourth in the East, lost in the second round. Okay. But I think I got my point across. I think you guys hear my point. Winning in the finals isn't everything. You could lose in the first round. Jordan did it twice. My bad. Jordan lost in the first round 3 times. 2 of them sweeps. Now you could say he only got swept because it was a best of 3. Okay, if there would have been a best out of 7, would he have lost that fourth game? Who knows? I don't know. I assume the 30-52 Bulls would have. But that's my point. Tell me what you guys think about that one, because that just seems to be everyone's major support for Michael and why he's the GOAT, because he wins in the finals. Okay. What about his first round playoff situation? Wasn't the greatest of all time. LeBron never lost in the first round. He had a couple of seasons where he didn't make it to the playoffs with records that Michael would have and did. But this whole zoning in on the finals record just seems very misleading. Okay, let's continue. One more point about this whole super team business. Everyone says about LeBron, oh, he left the Cavs, he went to Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. I think that whole argument completely overrated. Most good teams, all had 3 stars. You have, obviously, the Miami Heat, but then you look at Michael Jordan. He had his Michael, Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer right there, Horace Grant, all-star caliber player. When he didn't have Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman, probably the best defensive player of all time, one of the best. Could put him on Shaq. That is not normal, how he was able to do such a thing. But craziest defensive player of all time, one of the craziest defensive players of all time. So Michael Jordan had his people. Why is it different if he didn't join the other team? If anything, it's much harder because Jordan was with Pippen the whole time. It's not like LeBron, who took Chris Bosh and then went to Dwyane Wade. These guys never played together. They were never together, and then they all had to come together at once. When Jordan and Pippen, they got Horace Grant or they got Dennis Rodman, that was just one more guy. We look at Magic Johnson with James Worthy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. No one considered that a super team. Why? Because Magic Johnson didn't go to them. They still needed all of them to win. Why was that a super team? Why does anyone not discredit those championships? What's the difference? Those championships should mean zero. There's 3 All-Stars. 2 of them MVP caliber players. And Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What about the Boston Celtics? Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, John Havlicek. What crazy teams are this? These are crazy super teams. But you know why no one cares? Because they didn't all meet up together. Who really cares? If having multiple All-Stars on a team discredits a championship, it doesn't matter how they got there. The fact that they won shouldn't mean anything. The real problem is people hate on LeBron. They hate greatness. They don't want to appreciate greatness when they see it. I'm not a big fan of that whole super team thing. The last recent championship I can think of that didn't have somewhat of a super team is, that Heat, when the LeBron's Heat played the Mavs, how Dirk Nowitzki won by himself. That one All-Star. Not sure how we did that. That was intense. Even the Lakers, or even the Boston Celtics, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, 3 guys right there. You have the Lakers, you had Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum. These are good players. You have the Spurs, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Nobody cares about it. No one says, super teams, their championships don't count. Nobody says that, except by LeBron. The only thing that overshadowed LeBron was Kevin Durant. What was he doing? You already have 3 guys that are together. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. 3 guys that are already together. They won 73 games. So they're not taking scattered players and putting them together. They had a core team, and then you take Kevin Durant, MVP caliber player, has them on. Now they have 4 All-Stars. 2 of them being MVP caliber. There were 4 All-Star teams. You had those Pistons. The Richard Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups. You had the Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Al Horford, whoever the last guy was. But they didn't have 2 MVP caliber players. There was no 2 MVP caliber players. They had 4 All-Stars. There weren't 2 MVP caliber players. This crazy Warriors team, you have Stephen Curry with his unanimous MVP garbage. I'm not even sure how that happened. And then adding Durant, who clearly is an MVP caliber player. And that's supposed to make sense. So, thank you, Kevin Durant, for overshadowing LeBron. We do thank you for that. That did help the situation. Those are my 2 main points in defending LeBron. Now, am I saying LeBron's the greatest player of all time? I don't know who's the greatest player of all time. I'm just trying to defend the argument that it is not hands down Michael Jordan. You'll hear that all the time. It's got to be Michael Jordan. If you were alive back in the late 80s and early 90s, you would know it's Michael Jordan. I don't know if that's automatically true. I'm just trying to defend the other side, bring out a point. We got 2 points. Can't zone in on the NBA Finals record. Just too much. Leaving out too much information. The whole super team argument. Michael had it himself. Everybody had it. Besides Dirk Nowitzki. Alright. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all made it. Hope I didn't bore you all to death. If you have any suggestions or comments, feel free to put them below in the comment section. If you have any tips or anything, please help. If you have any suggestions and names for this channel, please feel free to put it in the comment section.